So everybody has their own diagnosis stories. Some people know that they had MS for a long time before actually getting diagnosed. My story was not that way. I actually had no idea at all. I was working at a restaurant, probably like 12, 14 hours a day at the time, in a management position. And I had recently got my contacts changed, and I noticed that my vision just wasn't quite right. Like, my right eye just seemed kind of funky. And I thought it was just the contacts, so I let it go for a few days, thought maybe I just needed to get used to the contacts. And then after a little while, I noticed that my vision was like getting dimmer in that eye. And so I went back to my optometrist and I talked to him because I thought it was the contacts. And he asked some questions and looked at my optic nerve and told me that he couldn't see anything on his end, any reason that what was happening. And when I explained it, it was kind of like the vision in my right eye was like getting darker, like at an angle, like coming down like this. And it didn't sit right. They weren't, my vision just didn't look right, and I couldn't really explain it very well. And he basically said that if I couldn't get in to see a neurologist in a certain amount of time, to go to the emergency room, because what I was experiencing only pretty much happens for two reasons. Either somebody is very obese or they have multiple sclerosis. So before the weekend was up, I ended up going to the emergency room, and they pretty much told me the same thing, that it was optic neuritis, and that only happens for two reasons. They did MRIs, and I already had it set up to see a neurologist, but I hadn't seen my neurologist for the first time yet. And so that was pretty much it. They did the whole steroid infusions at the hospital. But what was kind of not very fun was, with me working so much, that I would work my shift, and then when I'd get done at like 10 at night or something like that, I'd go to the emergency room and sit and wait for a room to even be seen, and then do the steroid infusion, and then go home and then go to sleep, and then wake up to go back to work the next morning. And so I did that for 3 days in a row. And some people have a hard time sleeping on steroids, but after working, 12-hour shift, you're pretty tired already. You just go to sleep. Anyways, that was pretty much me getting diagnosed. It was optic neuritis. It fully resolved with steroids and everything. After all that, I ended up getting in regular visits with my neurologist, and we started discussing plans for a DMT. So that's my short, quick story of getting diagnosed. When they looked at the MRI, I was diagnosed with, quote, 25 to 30 lesions in my brain. Nothing in my spine or anything, just all in my brain. Typically, when you get diagnosed, it's not a one-time thing. Oh, this happened one time, then you're diagnosed. It has to be a minimum of 2 instances. So they asked if I had any other odd things like tingling arm or loss of sensation in any places. And I told them that my left toe went numb for a few days one time, but I thought that was just, I pinched a nerve or something. And I guess that was enough. That checked the box for the second criteria that they needed, and then I was diagnosed.